Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Let's take a walk and go see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by today. This is Wells Sticky Toffee Pudding Ale, and it's brewed by Charles Wells, and it's out of Bedford, England. So this is an English style beer here, and it is here on the Rate Beer it says it's a premium bitter ESB, and over at Beer Advocate they're calling it a English brown ale. So not really sure what to expect. Based on the Great British Pudding, never had any of that, so I'm not sure what to expect. It's a sticky toffee pudding ale brewed with natural flavor and caramel color added. I'm not a big fan of the artificial flavorings and colors added. I will tell you that, guys. This was sent to me by Scott. So, Scott, my inked brother, thank you for sending this one down to me. And it has a bottled on date here, but it's been smeared off. I can still read the time stamp on the bottom of it, but as far as the date, it's been smeared off on there. And it's written in white, but I mean, that's the problem with these stuff that's printed on the bottle, either black or white or yellow. It's really easy to smudge and rub that off. It comes right off on your finger. So if you put your finger on it, you're screwed. I have done one other one. They're banana something that I did several years ago, and it wasn't blown away by it. So hopefully this will be a little bit better. So we're about to find out. I would probably consider this more of a brown ale than an English or a bitter that Rate Beer calls it a premium bitter ESB. Commercial description of this is based on the Great British Pudding, full of rich, sticky toffiness. Food pairings for this beer, if you're going for the English brown ale style, is going to be cheese or earthy, Camembert Patina, your nutty cheeses, Asiago Colby, Parmesan, and the meat is pork and grilled meat. Glass red pint, Bacardonic tumbler, mug, or side ale. I brought my favorite glass in here, the Solvin glass that Parrish sent me, and it says not recommended for extended cellar rings, being a lower ABV beer. And this is a 5 point, it says 5% here. Let's see if it has it on the label here. Yep, 5%. So I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about, so let's get the cap off of this one. Scott, thank you, sir, for sending me this. I don't know what to expect here, guys. Straight down the center on this one. Didn't produce a massive head, but we got about a half a finger of head on there. And over to the light is a rich red ruby color. I can see the bulb through the glass, so it's fairly clear. Pretty sure it's a filtered beer. And a lot of these beers, I don't know, I hate to categorize it as the British style, but a lot of them to me seem like novelty beers. They're very light in ABV, very easy drinking, very sessionable, but they're not. And I don't want to step on anybody's toes or anything, or make anybody mad across the pond, but they don't, like the bottle says, artificial flavorings and artificial color. I'm not into that. I mean, you shouldn't have to add anything artificial to your beer, but it is what it is. So let's see what it is. Let's get a nose on it. And you see the head is already dissipated. Well, if they were going for the toffee, they nailed it. Man, the toffee and the caramel is just off the chain on this beer. I mean, it smells like butter, no, I don't want to say butterscotch, but toffee caramel candy. Very, very, very sweet smelling. Almost, I would almost consider like a chick beer. Something very sweet, very easy drinking. But the toffee is there. Like I said, I'm not from England, don't live in England. Never had any of the British pudding, if you will. Maybe I need to. Somebody send me some British pudding. I'm sure that would probably go stale by the time it got here, but not had that particular dish, and maybe this beer would pair very well with that dish, but it definitely smells like toffee caramel candy to me. Well, let's give it a taste. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Scott. Thank you, brother. The toffee is there, the caramel is there, and it has a bitterness on the back end like an ESB has. Not super sweet in the taste, not as much as it is on the nose. They've added enough hops to bitter the back end of it up. Decent beer. Not outstanding, but decent. I would almost consider this a dessert beer. If you were having that British pudding, or something with some toffee or caramel in it, some kind of dessert with toffee or caramel in it, you would probably like this. It would probably pair very, very well. But for an everyday drinker, no. As for a beer that you would, being a hophead, these super sweet beers, and a lot of the body wines are really sweet beers, but I usually finish up the evening with those kind of, and usually a little bit bigger beers, you know, 10 to 15%ers. And this is a 5%. Definitely consider this a dessert beer. Something you have with something with caramel or toffee or something like that in it. Kind of sweet would pair well with that. Not your before dinner drink, in my opinion. Just my opinion now. But the toffee and the caramel is definitely there, guys. It is definitely there. And with the artificial flavor, it says natural flavors, excuse me. Natural flavor and caramel color added. So they've added the natural flavor and the caramel color. So I'm not into beers that you have to add that stuff to get a particular taste. I like it. You put the yeast and the hops and the water and the barley in it, and it is what it is. I mean, if you're doing a darker beer and you want to throw some cocoa nibs into the fermenter or something to add a little bit of cocoa taste or something like that, don't have a problem with that, because I've done it in some home brews and it works fairly well. But just to add natural flavors and caramel color, that's like adding red food dye to whatever you're making. So, well, let's let it warm up. It's right out of the fridge, 40 degrees, and see what we end up with, guys. I'll be right back. Alright, guys, I'm back. Got just a little left here. This beer is a little too sweet for me. If you're having this with a dessert with some kind of toffee or caramel or plum pudding or British pudding or something like that, it probably pairs pretty damn well. But for me, for my taste, just my opinion, it's a little too sweet tasting. It does have a nice bitterness on the back end, try to match up with that sweetness, but not my cup of tea. But Scott, thanks again, brother, for sending it to me and let me try it. Not something that I would probably seek out and buy for myself. Like I said, I'd done one of Wells' beers earlier, the banana nut or something like that, and it didn't blow my hair back or my socks off. And to be honest with you guys, this one doesn't either. So, final chug. to me, like I said earlier, I would almost consider this a dessert type beer or a chick beer. Very sweet up front, a little bit of bitterness on the back end to try to balance that out. But it's a dessert beer. It's made to have with some kind of dessert with toffee or caramel or something very sweet to match up with the taste of this beer. So, with that being said, guys, for me, I'm gonna give it a 6, which is a B. It's definitely an above average beer. It's a nice, tasty beer, a nice dessert beer. If you're looking for something, if you're into toffee and caramel, you'll probably love this. It's very nice. I'd hate to think that I had a 6-pack of this and I was going to drink it without a dessert or some kind of dessert meal with toffee or caramel and stuff in it. If you're a toffee or caramel nut, you will love this beer. It has nailed that flavor. Caramel and toffee is off the chain on this beer. It really, really is. So, that being said, like I said, Scott, thanks again, brother, for sending me this one down. Let me get my lips on it and let me review it for you guys. But it wasn't my cup of tea, and like I said, I do consider this a dessert type beer. You would want to have this with a dessert beer. If you're not having dessert, you probably wouldn't enjoy this beer very much. So, with that being said, guys, the 5 is what I'm going to leave it at, which is a 6. We'll go over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate says 77 in their okay range. I would probably give it I'd probably give it an 80. If I was putting a numeric rating on this, then I would probably give it an 80. And over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says overall 48 and 58 in its style. Don't think the number's quite that low, but a lot of these guys that do these beer reviews on Rate Beer and Beer Advocate, if it don't blow their hair back on the socks off, they're super unimpressed. I'm not saying that I'm impressed with the beer or unimpressed with the beer. I just think it's a dessert beer. It goes well with some kind of toffee or caramel dessert. Would pair very, very well with this beer. So with that being said, if you've had this one from Wells, Charles Wells, their Sticky Toffee Pudding Ale, let me know what you think. And from what I hear, I think a lot of people over in England eat a lot of that British pudding, so maybe that's why it's so popular. They have this with that dessert. I hear it's rather popular over there. So I wouldn't know. Never been there, guys. So let's go take that walk and see what's in the fridge tomorrow. See you then.